So I'm a big Halo fan. I don't know if any of you are Halo fans. I myself am a huge Halo fan. This is coming from bounding into comics, and it seems like there's some information that's popping up over what is going on with Halo. 343 Industries, who has been helming Halo since Bungie left back, I believe it was 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, when Bungie left after Halo Reach. When they left, 343 has taken over, and it looks like, according to what's going off or going or being talked about, I should say, it's being alleged that 343 Industries will be handing off development of all future Halo entries, and that to me is sort of concerning yet not concerning, because let's face it, when it comes down to Halo under 343, it hasn't been great. The games have been hit or miss. Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Infinite, I mean, they're all over the place. I've enjoyed them to a certain extent. Halo 4 I thought it was an all right game. Halo 5 was, the story was just like, what were we getting here? You could tell that it was two different visions. We know that there was kind of a mishmash of ideas that happened there when, about like a year before the game came out, they changed direction of what they were doing with that game. And then Halo Infinite was a rushed game that they had grand ideas for, but they just never capitalized on, and we got what we got. So really, when it comes down to it, under 343, things just haven't come out and really been what it should have been for Halo. But word of this shift in 343 Industries' production plans was first raised to the public on July 14th, courtesy of Bathrobe Spartan, a noted Halo scooper and podcaster whose track record includes the accurate leaking of Halo Infinite's Battle Royale and Firefight modes. Providing an update on the state of 343 Industries, Bathrobe Spartan explained that following the recent rash of layoffs across Xbox and 343 Industries proper, some of the studio's roles had been transferred to Microsoft Xbox team instead of being internalized, in order to allow for a clear separation of responsibilities for Halo content. So it says some roles are being internalized, clear separation, communications, brand strategy, Microsoft Xbox, franchise and project management going to 343 Industries. According to people we talked to, 12 since March 2024, the studio appears to have a current employee headcount of less than 280 as of May 2024. Only 30 of the remaining staff is related to game content production. Many are business-oriented roles and producers. In light of Halo Infinite's failing due to the mismanagement and it's currently being helmed due to their mismanagement, and it's currently being helmed by a skeleton crew, Bathrobe Spartan then revealed that 343 Industries has shifted to a new production method for the failing FPS franchise. And that is crazy to me, that Halo is considered a failing franchise. You just like, I remember in 2001 when I first picked up a controller. I was over at a friend's house and I first picked up that original Xbox controller and played Halo for the first time. I was blown away. I could not believe what I was experiencing back in 2001. And here we sit in 2024, Halo being considered a failing first person shooter is just baffling and upsetting to me. Now, don't get me wrong, Halo Infinite, when it came out, what, 4 years ago, 3 years ago at this point, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the game I wanted it to be. It wasn't the game it should have been, but I did have fun with it. And the multiplayer got better over time. But again, we sit here in 2024, Halo, which revolutionized the first person genre for console games in 2001. And then Halo 2 and Halo 3 were huge successes in the aughts, in the early 2000s. But ever since 343 Industries took over, they just have not been able to capitalize on the brand. It's just it's maddening to me. Absolutely maddening to me. Obsidian Odor says, seems like it got too big and they became complacent. I don't know if that's what happened. I'm not sure if that's what happened. I think it's just you see, the team behind the first three Halos were pretty much a solid team from 1, 2, and 3. They had their ups and downs. They had some people who left and came back and what have you, but it was basically the same team for those first 3 games. Even with Halo Reach, you had a solid team that was essentially there. That Bungie team was there through those 4 games. When it comes to 343 Industries, they were trying to make it their own. They didn't want to replicate what Bungie did. They wanted to make it their own. And with Halo 4, they went too far with it. Then Halo 5, they, like I said earlier just a little bit ago, there were too many visions. Were going in one direction, and then the head person for that game left like a year before, and they had to scramble and make a different game essentially because the head writer, or not the head writer, but the lead developer for the game left. So the year before they had to get a new direction and do something different. And then Halo Infinite, I don't know the whole story with what happened there yet. But again, it's just things have been going on that just have been unfortunate for that franchise. Obsidian also says the Paramount show didn't help. Look, I tried to be as open-minded with that show as possible. It is terrible. It is horrendous. You're right. It didn't help, but the failures of the Halo franchise started in like 2012, 2013, really with Halo 4. And again, Halo 4 wasn't terrible. Halo 5 wasn't terrible, but you could see the cracks starting. The issues were starting at that time. Halo 5 got a little worse. Halo Infinite, it seemed like Halo Infinite could bring it back, but the launch was so bad. They launched it so horribly that they shot themselves in the foot there. And what could they do at that point? So the studio is separated, leading development and production, hiring lead positions to do the concept and pre-production in-house, and handing off production work to other studios, alleged the scooper. Similar to Halo Wars 2, which was developed by 343 Industries in partnership with Total War franchise developer Creative Assembly. As to how this new production method would exactly play out, Bathrobe Spartan explained that 343 Industries was recruiting less content creating roles and more lead profiles to test, iterate, and validate content and gameplay before working with external studios to go full production. To this end, he then took a brief detour to detail how 2 partnered studios had already contracted to work on 2 separate projects this way. Returning to the original topic, Bathrobe Spartan informed Halo fans the new method is an important shift to how the company works so far on projects. Aim is for the new method to help produce content for games at a more reliable pace in the future and cost effective, but it takes a lot of time to ramp up from years of working differently. This new method of production is also in hope of not reproducing what happened to Halo Infinite. He clarified as he brought his main thoughts to a close. This is potentially a more reliable way to control budget and product quality while avoiding delays and internal production issues by separating roles. At current, both 343 or their parent company Microsoft have yet to offer any official comment on Bathrobe Spartan's report. So this is, again, like I said, very interesting. It could be a good thing for Halo because of how poorly 343 has managed it to this point. But it could also mean not so good things. Like, who do we really want running this? Like, who do we want running Halo and putting this together? I just don't know. I mean, from the sounds of it, it looks like 343 would still be involved with the development and really pushing the story and really giving us what Halo is. But the intricacies of the gameplay and everything are going to fall on a separate studio. And then putting the game together would fall in a separate studio. It seems like it might help push additional content out faster. That's not a bad thing. I know that was a big problem with Halo Infinite after its launch. It took forever to get new seasons and new game passes or whatever you call them these days. That was an issue. I don't know. I'm curious to think what or to see what other people have to say about this. I think that I'm gonna reserve my own thoughts until I see how this actually plays out, if it does play out. I'm curious to see how it works, if it does happen this way. Halo's been my favorite franchise for more than 20 years at this point. It's the one game that I will play every release that comes out. I will make sure I have an Xbox simply to play Halo. I've done that. I mean, I'm a father. I got 6 kids. I don't have time to sit down and play every video game like I want to. But one franchise that I will make sure that I find time to play is Halo. So again, I'm curious and interested to see what other people say about this, but I'm also curious to see how this plays out. But let me know what you all think about this in the comments, because I do want to know what you all think. I want to know what you all think. So let me know in the comments below.